This year, our report to General Assembly tells a story how an extraordinary organisation has risen to the challenge posed by equally extraordinary circumstances, with courage, with compassion and with creativity. That organisation is one of Scotland's largest voluntary sector social care providers. It cares for thousands of people of all ages who find themselves made highly vulnerable by the situations they face. And it does so year after year, offering support in its care homes and in a wide range of community settings. It is unique in the voluntary sector because of its geographical spread and the diversity of its services. It employs over 1,600 staff members and mobilises over 400 volunteers. It is an outworking of faith and is part of the mission of the Church of Scotland. That extraordinary organisation is your social care organisation, and we call it Crossreach. Over the past year, barely a week has passed without a mention of social care in our news stories. We've heard about staff on the front line continuing to be attending their places of work, while many of us were forced to be at home, either home working or on furlough. And in those early days, facing a virus about which very little was known and from which there was little protection. We heard about care homes, with residents separated from their loved ones and staff trying to protect them from a virus which was most deadly to the oldest and most frail. Sadly, we also heard of many deaths across the country in a variety of settings, particularly in the early stages of the pandemic. And our thoughts and our prayers continue to be with all of those who have lost someone dear to them as a result of COVID-19. We mourned at Crossreach when we lost one of our own staff members to coronavirus, and we pay tribute to his many years of valuable service to those with a learning disability. We heard about families on the edge, an increase in mental health problems, loneliness, isolation, and once more, the terrible toll of drugs deaths in our society. We heard about mistakes made by government in understanding the needs of social care and what was needed to keep supported people safe as well as cared for. We heard about the undervaluing of social care staff compared to NHS counterparts, and the drawing realisation that the country had a fractured and underfunded social care system. But what we actually saw was love in action, as Crossreach turned itself inside out and continued to care. We found new ways of keeping our service users in touch with their loved ones, turning to technology and social media to keep people connected, and giving them the opportunity to chat and to enjoy each other's company. We set up buddy systems in some of our community services where people could connect with staff who could support them, but also with peers, and we saw the amazing difference that made to them. We sent out hundreds of activity and learning packs to children in various parts of the country, helping them come to terms with the changes they were facing and supporting their learning. And we helped deliver virtual visits in prison settings. And we continue to find ways of working with children affected by parental substance use. We continued offering drug and alcohol recovery services and, quite incredibly, saw people combat addiction despite the extra pressures around them, and then successfully complete a recovery volunteer programme. And we celebrated their success with an online graduation ceremony, and we heard how they're going on to support others just beginning their own recovery journey. We turned our school into a food distribution centre for families known to us and to our social work colleagues who were struggling to make ends meet, and we were able to give additional support where it was needed. We redesigned the whole counselling service, and we are now able to reach every part of the country through a virtual counselling platform, and we plan to build on this for the future. We saw people from our Heart for Art projects continuing to be creative online, and we were able to support those living with dementia and their families. And we were there, every step of the way, for the most vulnerable and frail, with round-the-clock care continuing to be offered wherever it was needed. Despite the extraordinary challenges, There have been many successes along the way too. Many moments of tenderness as we held the hands of those who could not be with their family in the darkest times. And many moments of joy and laughter as people found ways to connect and enjoy each other's company. We completed the final move of the Children's Care and Education Services restructure, and we vacated Ballykinrain. The children are all now settled into their new homes, small community houses, much more like family homes and much more suited to their needs. It's been a long process, but a worthwhile one, and we thank the staff involved for their dedication in the midst of uncertainty over that time. We couldn't have done any of this without relying on the faith in God's steadfast love which underpins Crossreach. We could not have done it without the faithfulness of our many supporters and the wider church family who held us up in prayer and responded so generously to our emergency appeal or found other ways to show that you cared. We could not have done it without the Coalition of Care Providers Scotland and Scottish Care, our representative organisations who have worked tirelessly throughout on behalf of the sector. Thank you to the Assembly trustees for their concern over the past year, to the moderator who found ways of spending time with service users and staff, and to each and every one of you who has walked alongside us and helped the staff at Crossreach face such immense challenges. It has all been much appreciated. However, the last year has taken its toll both on the well-being of staff and on the resilience of the organisation. We've heard of exhaustion and anxiety amongst members of staff, and we have put in place a number of well-being initiatives to support them. Recovery will take time, and we will continue to need your support. And we remain at the mercy of a fractured social care system. The recent independent review of adult social care, set up to look at how things might be different, has made a number of recommendations, including a welcome move towards a human rights-based approach. But we know it will take a lot of political will and a number of years to make all of these changes deemed necessary. Meanwhile, the system remains underfunded and continues to put pressure on those who are in the most vulnerable situations, with care homes for older people being subject to particular financial challenges, which have not been helped by the COVID-19 pandemic. And this is despite the sustainability payments made available to the social care sector through to Scottish Government funding and gratefully received, without which things would have been very much worse. The Crossreach Board, which was introduced in June 2020 and has taken up its responsibilities with great commitment, will spend the next few months concentrating on recovery. Board members will work with senior staff to take stock of the recommendations from reviews and the financial situation, and we will bring back our thoughts on the way forward to the General Assembly of 2022. I would ask that you read carefully the report in front of you and consider how you might offer prayerful and practical support as we continue to weather the storm and take the steps needed to ensure that long-term recovery is possible. We cannot guarantee the future of all of our services at this point, but we will do the best to secure those that we can. Your help in that will be vital. We do see light at the end of the tunnel. The vaccination and testing programs have helped enormously, and we are restoring all those services which were disrupted to as near normal as possible. We are also pleased to see at last recognition of the value of the social care workforce and a renewed commitment to fair work practices, something for which we have been campaigning along with colleagues in the care sector for some time. And whilst that more public recognition is of course welcome, as a board we have always understood the great value of the Crossreach workforce. And we would ask that you join us now in thanking them for their efforts over the past year, for their courage, their compassion, and their creativity, and for the faith which we have seen in action, which has seen them through the most difficult of times and which will help sustain them in the days ahead.